Yeah.
Real quick, can anybody say anything about that groove between me and Gerald, what we're doing right now in that groove? What do you feel, the pulse that's going on? Can anybody answer that?
It's on the bass drum.
What is it?
On the bass drum.
What do you hear on the bass drum?
It's syncing up with the bass.
You hear us syncing up?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's on. So you hear that pulse. And the thing about Clyde and Jabo, they used to, like a heartbeat, just a fast heartbeat. But it's like this. And one thing about James Brown, actually I got called to play with James Brown at one point in the 90s, and I missed the phone call about 2 days late. And that was around the time we had those answer machines where you could just press and listen to the message. You couldn't call and check in like we can now on our phones or whatever. So I got a call from James Brown's music director. Lil John, Mr. Brown wants you to come and make it and rehearse with us. We need another drummer. So I got that message, I called in, I was in LA doing some sessions, I got home, heard the message, called back, hey man, I'm down, I want to do it. Oh man, we called you 2 days ago. So I missed the call, so I didn't get to do that gig, but it's a quick story. But yeah, I really studied those drummers a lot, and I was really looking for the opportunity to play with Mr. James Brown, but that is a lot of the style that these guys play, that pulse. Like kind of makes you want to dance because it's not letting up, you know. It's just like you're like, right. Man, I feel something. I can't control myself when I'm dancing, and I don't want to, but I'm doing it. You know? I don't want to do it. So it's that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, the other thing that's noticeable about all the different bass lines was that there was always a center of the bass line, meaning the part that repeats over and over, and then you'll hear little variations, and the variations will be very subtle, but mostly you'll hear the main part of that group. Play the drum beat. So here's the essence of the bass line. So you just had that'd be plenty. You can start a religion on those two notes. thing about playing bass, it's like you can kind of drive the bus. It's like you're going along. It's like, okay, I got that. And all of a sudden you throw a little left turn in there, a bass fill. So one of the things I encourage my students to do is to learn how to strategically place bass fills. So where the groove is really, everyone is feeling the essential part of the groove, like the boom, 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 boom. And then just when the groove needs a little lift or a little variation, then you throw in the fill. Now, why did I say that? Because often, well, for me, not you guys, but my mind is like a 5-year-old. Because it's hearing and thinking of all kinds of things I could do, like that would be so cool right now. Wow, what if I did that?
Don't do it.
But the beauty is in the not doing it, the restraint. It creates like the word that John used earlier, that tension. That was the one thing about James's music and a lot of great groove-oriented music, that tension. You don't want to break that.
Right. Yeah, and Miles even said it, most of the time, it's not about what you play, it's about what you don't play. It's the space in between the notes that you let breathe. Because you can play stuff all kind of, like drummers can come here and just go, all of that stuff don't really mean nothing. And I listen to cats play sometimes and I'm like, what made them think about playing that fill or that lick or whatever in between that groove? Like, the groove itself already captures people, so why do you have to distract the groove? I wonder sometimes why people do that. I get hired a lot of times just because of this. Just because. That's it. And I get paid a lot of money just to do that. I've been with Janet Jackson for 20 years now because of that. You know, she's not looking for me to do all that stuff. You know, I mean, I play little nice, tasteful fills in between the grooves and stuff just to keep it moving. But for the most part, I'm locking to the track. And that's all they want. And if I'm doing that right, everybody's happy. You know, and we're playing the 10,000 to 100,000 people, depends on the venue. That stuff doesn't even really translate all the way in those nosebleed seats. All that other stuff that I'm trying to do, it just gets lost. And it doesn't help any of the space for the rest of the guys in the band. So it's almost like you gotta come with a humility, a humble approach to playing, and know that it's a team effort going on. You have a quarterback, you got a running back, you have a tight end, you know, everybody's doing their job on the team. You know, not one person is doing the whole task. Michael Jordan is not winning championship games when he was playing by himself. He had Pippen, he had Rodman, you know, the other 4 guys that was in that team with him, assisting him, you know. So that's our job, is to assist each other, fall back if he's trying to play something. Oh, you saying something? Let me get out the way. You know, oh, you saying something? Okay. All right, my time to say something. You know, like it's like we passing, you know, the ball.
I like that. I like that analogy. I hope you're listening carefully to everything he's saying, because he's throwing out little nuggets, even that are subtle. Like when he said he'll do a drum fill just to keep it moving, just to keep things moving. So that tells me that he's strategic about using drum fills. So the wrong reason to do a drum fill is because this is my moment. That's not the reason.
It's a selfish moment.
Yeah. It's like, yeah,
I'm taking this. I don't care what you say. This is my moment.
Right. But it's to serve the music. You know, that there's a point where the music maybe needs a lift, or it maybe needs to set up the chorus. There are lots of reasons to do a drum fill or a bass fill. The other thing that I'm listening to when John's speaking, very subtle too, is this analogy of the team. See, often as a musician, we get so caught up in what we're doing, right? Which is really important. Because when you're practicing, man, I can see you guys right now in your music room, like practicing. You got your headphones on, right? Hopefully you have your headphones on. And then you're like practicing and you're just really locked into what you're doing. But in a band situation, as you guys all know, the one thing that we have to learn is that there's something always happening, even if we're not doing it. See, a lot of times, the reason I think that sometimes we'll play too much, and I'll include myself in that, is because we get fooled into thinking that if we're not doing something, then nothing's happening. But there's always something happening, right? Like there might be a guitar part that's very subtle, that if I'm playing all over it, I won't hear it. Or Erskine might be playing some nice chord changes. There's always something happening. Even I'll listen to like just the way John's hi-hat might be opening and closing, the subtle things. So it's another way of thinking about playing music. You take the responsibility off of yourself to make everything happen. Does that make sense? That's part of the essence of this groove connection. This kind of, and a key word you can take away today is trust, right? If you guys have been in bands, you know all about trust and lack of trust. But yeah, in music, and like for John and myself, we never played together. But there's a shared understanding about making music as a bass player and a drummer. And same thing with Erskine and what the roles are. And we're listening and there's a conversation going on. And just like in your conversation, when you see a friend or someone you're meeting for the first time, there's that feeling out. Hopefully there's as much listening as speaking, right? So these are all good analogies for that bass drum.
You said a really good thing. In a conversation, I'm not the only one talking, you're not the only one talking. We're bouncing off of each other in a conversation, right? Same thing goes with playing music. You're having a conversation with the rest of the people in the band. And you're having a conversation with the audience. So subliminally, you're talking to the people that's watching you, you know, and you guys are giving us energy, we're giving it back. You're saying something in your mind and we're subliminally hearing it. It's weird, but it happens. I was going to use as an example with space, and this is real quick, just a few bars of it, Maiden Voyage. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff that can be played in between that space, but I'm going to show you like the most minimal way to approach this song, okay? Just a few little sections. So many things that happen right there. Like I could do a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm just keeping the pulse, saying a few things in between what he's doing. Erskine's taking most of it on this song because it's really more of a keyboard song. And Gerald, you really don't hear him doing much. Boom, 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 boom. He's not. What are you doing? Shh, you're playing too much. I mean, it's like, I'm not even gonna say it because we got kids in here, but caress. The rest of the music. I mean, but there's certain songs where you go nuts too, you know? There's other songs where you go nuts. I mean, he's played a weather report, and there's a lot of fusion. There's a lot of notes going on, zawinals all over the place, and the drums are going crazy. How do you feel about playing in a group like Weather Report when there's more notes being played in that?
I look at it like this. Each musical situation that you're in has its own language, it has its own aesthetic, it has its own kind of environment, and I don't want to use the word rules, but they kind of, you get the picture. So the way that I would play with Joe Zawinul is different than when I play with Grover Washington Jr. or, you know, any number of people. You know, if you go into a recording session and it's just asking you to play that's your dessert right there. You know? So it depends on the situation. And I think the thing that I've cultivated over the years is, I call it the goldfish approach. You know, like a goldfish has a very short memory. So when it sees something, it's like it saw it for the first time. So I just try to stay interested in whatever I'm doing. You know, if it's one note, man, I'm curious as heck about it. Like, here it comes again. That, you know.
But that's grooving. I felt it, I'm like, okay, is he gonna do something? No, he's making me wait. I gotta wait till the end of the song for him to go. No. Damn. Make people wait. Make people wait till that climax, man. Like, don't give it all in the first few bars of the song. Then I have nowhere else to go once you've already played all the stuff you wanted to say in the beginning of the song. Make people wait. Make people wait for you to do a fill. Like, man, he hasn't done a fill yet. Why won't he play a fill?
Building that tension. Yeah. I was gonna, can we do the Chameleon?
Yeah.
Chameleon? All right. So we're gonna do this original song I wrote called Chameleon.
This was a huge hit,
I just want to see. That was a test. I just want to see. It's a Herbie Hancock composition.
left that second part of it. I like that part the best.